a guy who is young is Ashton Jeanty.
Yes, sir.
Who has turned the corner a little bit of late, and he headlines running back love-hate. And we heard about Ashton Jeanty talking about his red zone touches.
Whenever I get the ball, I'm just want to make the most of my opportunities, whether it's red zone, whether we're backed up. It doesn't matter. And, my opportunities will come when they come.
Kind of along those lines, though, like how do you go respectively lobbing to the coaching staff to hey, stick with me, let's kind of get me going to help the offense out?
I don't even think it's more of something that I have to say. I think it's just through the work I put in practice, just showing my coaches that I'm consistent, and then come game time, whenever they do give me the ball, I make plays and show them that I'm a reliable person each and every single week.
Very measured, Ashton Jeanty, one of the brightest prospects in the sport. As we look at Matthew's running back rankings, Ashton Jeanty coming in at number 7 in between Devon Achane and Kyron Williams. Obviously a rough first 3 weeks for Jeanty, Matthew, but really broke out against the Bears. And the Colts is a rough game overall for the Raiders, but Jeanty continues to get some receiving work, and now he gets a favorable matchup against the Tennessee Titans.
And that's the point. Honestly, Ashton Jeanty has fallen so far from where he was drafted early on that we can now put him on the love list. And it's not one of those things that's oh, really? You're putting Bijan Robinson on the love list? Thanks, Captain Obvious. No, Ashton Jeanty is now a little bit of a question mark, although for this week, not for me. You mentioned the passing game usage, Jay, and that's the key. 16% target share over the last 2 weeks. They finally figured out, the more we can get the ball in this guy's hands, the better. And I don't know if that's because Brock Bowers has been out and missed a little bit of time, and so he's one of the few weapons they have, or just because a light bulb has gone on. Here's a guy that was a good pass catcher in college. We should probably use that skill set here in the pros as we try to get something going for Las Vegas. But as I mentioned, 16% target share over the last 2 weeks. He's also had 42 touches. So just a really big workload over the last 2 weeks. 42 touches over the last 2 weeks. And why do we bring up the workload? Because, Jay, running backs that have seen at least 18 touches against the Tennessee Titans this year are averaging almost 21 fantasy points per game. So you saw it on your screen. Ashton Jeanty, my running back 7 this week. Geno has not been good.
No, sir.
The offense has not been good, but Jeanty, I think, is a constant here. I like the matchup. The game's in Las Vegas, so at home against a Tennessee Titans team traveling west that has struggled against pass-catching running backs. Top 10 day coming for Jeanty.
Yeah, it's a one-man defense in Tennessee and Jeffrey Simmons, so just try not to run directly at him. Question from Cris S on YouTube, trade Garrett Wilson for Jeanty. I'd rather have Jeanty.
Yeah, I think it's a fair trade. Obviously, it depends on the rest of your roster construction, what your scoring is, or you half-point PPR, but it's certainly a fair trade. I think if we redrafted today, I think both those guys go around the same area. And I will say that on the days that Connor Rogers is actually here, one of the things he has said to us about Garrett Wilson specifically is that if you look, a lot of his production is coming sort of in the fourth quarter during this junk time, which is when a lot of Justin Fields' passing production is coming as well. And so how sustainable is that? We like Garrett Wilson. We know he's a talent, but certainly feels like there's more of a floor with Jeanty week in, week out than maybe there is with Wilson, who at least the last couple of weeks has needed sort of this crazy comeback, junk time passing attack, because we know the Jets want to run the ball. They want to be a running offense. The scoreboard just hasn't helped them out that way. So, and look, they're going to be bad for all year long. So that may be consistent, but
I think Garrett Wilson's going to have games where he goes 5 for 53. Yeah. Ashton Jeanty's going to get 16 to 18 touches every game. Even in a game they lost 40-6, he's still got a lot of work. And I will say Jeanty too. So you look at his last 2 games. Snap rate down against Indianapolis because they were losing by so much in the second half, but still goes 14 for 67 and 5 for 42 through the air. 15.9 fantasy points from a running back when your team loses by 34 points, all things considered, is pretty good as a return. Also, having watched that game, as I watch every snap of my beloved Indianapolis Colts, Jeanty was close to breaking a few. Last safety tackling him, he could have easily had a 40-yard breakaway run. So it'll get better for Ashton Jeanty. Yeah,
for sure. By the way, they're 3.5-point favorites at home against the Titans as well. So we're not worried about the Titans putting up 40 on them and him getting game script out of the way. I mean, the Colts, that just got so out of hand. It's not like they were trailing by a lot. They were trailing by 35 points or whatever, 33 points.
Exactly.
Right. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.